Yes.
All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to HoGaLe's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, know your know your nation, know yourself. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all fine. So you're
Can you hear me?
traveling backwards through time and space.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, guys, for the slight delay. Basically, since I've been on the ship, we've been having 25-hour days. 25-hour days. Tomorrow, we lose a complete day, and I'm going to start getting closer to the time zone that Lena is in. So when I'm in Japan, we might be in the same time zone, Lena, but I've been slowly going backwards.
Yeah.
We've had a massive storm overnight, and our phones cannot keep up. So we have to rely on the ship's timing. But it seems the ship's timing wasn't quite the right time. So I thought we were on in the next hour, but everything's caught up. So I've not had a chance to read questions and stuff like that. But anyone can pose questions in the chat. Ladies, what comes in terms of on top of your head, what to discuss? And sorry for the delay, everyone, but I'm having crazy time right now. Crazy time.
Right. All right, a question. Is that what?
Sure.
What's a question? Guys, throw us a question into the comments, and the first one that we see, we'll try and do. So we'll do it. So much is happening, it's hard to separate it all, you know.
Is there anything that the two of you ladies want to talk about in particular? Because I've not had time to look, unfortunately.
Okay, let's have a look at
anything you want to read on?
Tampering in red states. Like, will they do some damage, or will people pick it up in time, or what's going to happen there? Yeah.
Sure. All right. So tampering in red states.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Will they pick it up?
Can I have a new question, please? Because it's...
Sure, go for it.
It's sort of related in the sense that with the horrors of Hurricane Helene, that it's impacting red states. So will it actually have a ripple back effect on people's voting?
Okay. So will recent storms and weather destruction in red states have an impact on voting? Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Weather impact. It's funny you should say that, because we sailed through a massive storm last night and the ship was just, my goodness, it was a rattle box.
How
and I don't
scary.
know if you guys can see, because of you probably can't see, but the ocean, the Pacific Ocean is right out there, and I'm getting closer to Lena's time, folks.
That's
Tonight,
right.
I lose the whole day and I go into the future where Lena is. It's mind-bending.
No, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
And we just went on daylight savings.
For the first time in years, Lena, will be
last night. Sorry?
Similar time zones.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, will weather impact the red states?
Who's ready to go first?
I can.
Go for it.
I think with this high priestess here, there's still misinformation around everything, right? Which includes people who will think it's God's punishment for X, Y, and Z, people who still deny reality. So some people will not be moved, but others will be massively affected. Some will shift. This is evaluating things, as you say, return on investment. They're going to look at that now. I think the Dems really need to get on the front foot with this, because this is a major destructive swathe that's going to take months and months to correct. So they need, I think, to name names. We can't do any more for you in North Carolina because of X. We can't do more here because of X. Name the names or they'll get blamed. This is what I'm worried about with this. But things are moving quickly. I don't know why the cards have gone to Jack Smith in the form of the Magician, but it might be the combination of what they're hearing, whether they want to or not, about the content of Jack Smith's documents, right, and the hurricane. So my answer is yes in that sense. It's not going to be a total anything, but there's going to be an impact.
Okay, Lady G, what do you have?
Well, the GOP's already going crazy. All of them are blaming FEMA, blaming, you know, Kamala and Biden, and MPP is saying the government is controlling the weather and they sent it to the red states.
Yeah. This is how delirious they are. Yeah.
I just, you can't make this up.
Ah.
So anyway, it's about the message, about the actions. We're looking at the message that's coming in, what they're going to do with the long term for this. But the action is a victory for the Democrats in the end with it. And what they're doing now is they're investigating, looking deeper into what, of course, the GOP is trying to sell. And of course, Trump is already scamming millions from it. Yeah. So the challenge is where this is moving to. They're taking action with things now, choices being made with the outcome, the burden for Trump. Because it's coming out again that, you know, his people are setting up a charity.
Yeah, right. They're really good at charities.
Yeah, they're very good for charities, a charity for the people there. And we all know where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So just to give a little extra sort of like insight here. So what's it called? So this is one. We'll do one on Jack Smith after this, but Dorian here has said, third one in a month. Many in Florida have second homes in New Carolina and North Carolina, Tennessee as well. I think that means they're called halfbacks in the mountains. Terrible stories of loss. Shame politics hurts. Now, in a slight digression, well, actually, it's not that much of a digression. So basically, I'm going to be doing a retreat in Florida. Yeah, and she put a deposit down on a place in Florida to do a retreat in May, but I might have to change that now because I mean, it another one, you know, another storm. I mean, May apparently is a good time of year. Yeah, so hopefully it will be okay. But it's really starting to make. I'm starting to become very concerned about how much this stuff is happening. So with my cards, will this change things? We look here. We've got the Hanged Man. So this is tricky. On one hand, you could say there is a change of perspective, which is what this card often talks about. A change of perspective, seeing things from a different point of view. So some people will wake up, but this can also talk about those that are kind of stuck in the mud, denialism, or they just explain it away. They say the government is doing it, like you're just saying, Lady G, which is like, it's like, come on, like really, like what government is going to be wanting to do this to itself, where it's going to have to spend out billions and billions and billions fixing stuff? So it's like, oh, I know. As a strategy, we're going to attack ourselves with bad weather. Yeah? Does that really make sense? No. Once you examine it. If we look here, I think there are still some people that are on the fence, still undecided. I think they see the reality in front of them, but of course, as we know, with the Two of Swords, the blindfold is on. So I think there's still a lot of denialism around climate change, even though it's happening more and more consistently. But what I say to people is, how many times can your village blow down, or your town blow down, or your city get decimated before you get it? Yeah. If things continue as the way they are, some parts of the world will just become unlivable. That's just the reality. This is interesting because we've got the Three of Cups here showing up in the middle, and this is normally a card of celebration, etc., and stuff like that. So I don't know. For me, I'm not quite sure how to actually interpret this card. Here. Could it be that maybe some people actually decide to kind of come together and agree on a consensus to move forward with climate change, stuff like that? Or could it just be that you've just got people that are in such levels of denial, they're just like, let the party continue, yeah, let it all burn. You know, there could be some people like that. However, we do have here, this is the Six of Swords, so wanting to move to smoother waters. I think this is quite literally, but isn't it interesting? Here, this card is also about water, wanting to move to smoother waters. I think this is actually talking about the reality of people having to move out of certain areas, because if you flood every year, you know, it's not tenable. Okay, if you flood maybe once every 5 years, but every year you can't live there. Yes, you become uninsurable, which is a lot of things that are happening. And then I get the Lover's card, which is always about making very important and meaningful choices. But this is also a card that I associate as well with commerce, economic decisions as well. And I think it's just going to reach a point where it's no longer economically viable to keep up with these denials. You know, people, you know, they're going to have to see the reality. Anything to add to that, ladies, before we move on? No? Good? Maybe, has the picture frozen? I'm doing this off my phone. Yeah?
No, it's all right.
Maybe it's frozen a little bit. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go on then to this one. This question's coming from Caroline Lee. Oh, Carolyn Lee, sorry. Yes. Will Jack's revelations wake up a few more MAGA, or are they too far into the swirling grain? Question, same as Sharon Donnelly. Okay, so basically, will the revelations around Duck Orange and basically where he said, let them riot and other stuff, will this be enough to change some people in MAGA? All good? Yeah.
It's been good on MSNBC and sympathetic channels in the sense of more and more ex-MAGA are speaking. And it's quite heartening to watch these little 5-minute videos. I voted for him in 2020. So these are the ones that in that time have changed their minds. But obviously they're not a majority or anything. But let's see. Will the Jack Smith stuff impact? Oh,
and just so everyone knows, I'm doing this off the ship's internet. When I hit Japan, I'll have stronger internet. So this is the last show before I hit Japan.
So what is the ship called?
So it may be a little bit choppy.
What's the name?
Called, oh God, it's called the Noordam, and it is a Holland America ship. I am currently off the coast of Alaska, soon going to be going into the waters of Russia and then down into Japan. So I really am in the absolute arse crack of nowhere, basically. Just like, I'm so far away. It's just incredible.
Well, I can go if you guys are.
Who's ready to go?
I am. So we start out.
Go for it, Lady G.
The message is about this path forward. If it's opening up something because of what is in that report. So it's about the energy, and it is about the steal. What he did to try to do the steal, and his abuse of power. His abuse of power. And when it comes to his lovers, his Magatonians, many of them will be in agreement, and underneath of it, distancing. Some of them will be ready to walk away.
Well, shall I go next?
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it, Lena.
I think this is adding up. You know, this figure's a bit wounded. It's compared with even a year ago or whatever, where they felt they were ruling the world. It's a, you know, death by 1,000 cuts, right? Because it's not rational. There's still going to be suckers for the misinformation here with this Page of Cups. The twittering birds on this page, to me, always is social media. So they're still in their silos, right, getting misinformation. And they will stay loyal to him at this point. The emperor, the majority of MAGA, that is, not the majority of Republicans necessarily, but MAGA, which was the question, you know. So, but they're starting to get worried and, you know, slow learners.
Very interesting. Okay. So what I'll do is let's just add here. I just want to say a quick thank you to Lisa Robinette. Thank you so much for your donation. Very, very kind of you. And then we've got some more questions, you know, about Trump and why he's been able to get away with things. So we'll explore that. This is more kind of freestyle, guys, because normally I have the questions in advance, but I was in a completely different time zone than what I thought I was. Anyway, so if we look here, 10 of Pentacles. So, of course, whenever we're talking about the GOP, this card almost always comes up, just in case we weren't sure. Here we are. So this is them, of course, thinking about, you know, their schemes, their legacies, fundraising, etc., stuff like that. So spirit is dialed in. And, of course, the question is, you know, how many of them are going to change their perspective? There is some movement. Yeah, there is some movement. However, now the Eight of Wands is a very, very, very fast card. However, this is technically the obstacle position, so we can look at it like that. So the way I interpret that is, no matter how much more revelations, how many more sticks are thrown at Dr. Orange, many will refuse to listen and they will stay stuck in their original thought. And there's a funny phenomenon in psychology which is called, I can't remember, but you know, it's terms of like sunk cost. So once you've invested in something for a certain amount of time, a person then becomes very, very reluctant to shift and move. Because if we think this has been allowed to drag on for years now, people have lost friendships, even jobs, or their lives have completely changed. So for them to kind of give up now, what's the point? You know what I mean? We look here, though, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. So some people are still hammering away, quite literally, at the conspiracy theories. And they've, you know, you have to believe that the election is stolen now. And even though that the mask has slipped several times with Dr. Orange, you still need people to hammer away at this. So it's become an ideology. It's become a way of life. It's become an identity. That's a lot for people to give up now. So, you know, if we look here, we've got the Page of Swords. Pages are all about messages. Oh, there is that little bit of sword of truth that is coming through for some. Oh, yes, of course. Yes, you got it there. So it's like, but it's kind of like Lena's saying, for me, this is almost like not so much a sword, more like a little kitchen knife. You know, one or two people are being scratched off, but I think at this stage it has embedded itself so deeply, people have more to lose by leaving rather than staying in and just carrying on with the cray-cray. You know what I mean? And here, the outcome card is the Queen of Cups, normally quite a good card, creativity, etc., and stuff like that. But let's not forget that here, in the Queen's Cup, there are secrets. So what this to me is there can still be some revelations that may come out about Trump. But I think what we have to, and maybe I'm saying this for maybe the audience or just Americans in general, I think America has to reconcile itself to the fact that there is a lot of support for this guy, and the conventional values and stuff like that no longer matter. Let's put it that way. I think anyone who is saying they don't know about Trump now, it's like, how can you not know? It's all out there, really.
Yes.
It's all out there. So anything to add to that, ladies?
No. Let's continue.
We're good? All right. So let's take a look. I'm going to look back through the live chat and see, or let me just quickly do some more thank yous. So I want to say here, thank you to Harriet so much for your donation. And thank you as well to Maxime. What's this? Okay, so this is a question that's come in. Let's take a look at this. Why is they put Don Old allowed to lie that the government is not helping the hurricane victims? Why is the media covering his lies?
I think that's the important part of the question always with him. He is who he is. Why are the corporate media sane-washing him, you know, and the lies?
Yeah, be interesting to see what you get, ladies, because I think it's one of the main, if not the biggest problem of the whole Trump scenario is carte blanche media.
I mean,
even
Fox
when they're
is
being
Fox.
critical, they still advertise him. He's
all right.
so much free advertising.
I know, it's just shocking. But this comes back to what I was saying earlier. The Dems have to smack back naming names in the states, bypass Trump and go, you're not getting money here because of Derek Smith. You're not getting money there because of this. They want, Project 2025 wants to wipe out FEMA altogether. This is a chance, horrific as it is, to actually say that is immoral, that is obscene. Do not let this happen, America. You know? Anyway, we'll see. Sorry, I've forgotten the actual question again. I was raving on.
Why is the media not more vociferously attacking Trump's lies? Why is he consistently allowed to get away with it?
Lies. Yeah, it's like saying Democrats execute babies. Some are so dreadful, and people just go on to the next question or something. You know, like it's normal. Why do they do it?
Who's ready to go first?
You ready, Lady G?
Sure. So going into it, we have, of course, the toxicity. You know, they're all, mainly the owners of those stations are Republic-Uglies. I mean, you know, let's face it. So they block the truth. They don't care about taking it in. They've got the burden hanging over them with the challenge of, again, putting out a message of truth, because the outcome is they're looking at their long-term investments and drama. And so that's where that's at. You know, they don't want to accept what's being done when it comes to the compassion and that type of thing. They're just not going to honor that or see that.
Well, mine kicks off with the card of theft. which to me in this context, the corporate media let this go on for 4 years. And this is the root of the modern. It's not that it didn't happen before, but this is the root of the problem. As Hogarth was just saying, people don't want to lose face after a certain thing. It's like they've done it for so long, they're stuck with it, so they just lie down and don't change their tack. I think this is Kamala in the sense of she's fresh clickbait for them. The reason the Dems are getting any coverage is because she is fresh and dynamic, and she is apparently the leading candidate. Hello. So they do cover her a bit, but not a lot. They're always weighing up the money and how much they can get away with by doing this. And they're a hostage to their own corporate greed.
Yeah.
They should not be allowed to be called news. They should be called, I don't know, commentators or something. Take the NEWS off it, you know. But they're doing it to themselves. Hogarth.
Just so you know, I hope the sound is okay on your side. I'm struggling with the sound on my side. And
no, it's fine here,
delay,
miraculously.
but I can still hear everything. Huh?
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Okay, cool. All right. So here we're asking, like, why are they doing this? What is going on? And this is actually reflected in the comments. So obviously, you know, I've pulled my cards, but look at this. Look what comes straight up, the Ace of Pentacles. And it might even seem cliche to say now, but it's true. It is, a lot of it is to do with money. A lot of this, unfortunately, is to do with corporate greed, because what they've worked out is whether you're praising Trump or you're against Trump, clickbait. Yeah, they're all making money off of it in some shape or form. Not to deride all media stations and, you know, tarring everyone with the same brush, but we do have to be honest here as well. Clicks are money now, and they've worked it out. The more they report on his outrages and this, and he's easy media, yeah, because he's always saying something ridiculous, something over the top. He's very clickable, so they get money either way, whether they're praising him or they're against him. Do you see? So there's quite a strong vested interest here, and it's just come out loud and clear. If we look here in the obstacle position, we've got the Seven of Wands, which is normally about defending a position, etc., and stuff like that. But really, here we can also consider this card reversed. So the way I'm going to interpret this, I think there is an element here of defending a false position. Yeah, like he's terrible, blah blah blah. But at the same time, the eye is always on. Sorry, everything's backwards here. Forgive me.
Yes,
it is. Everyone's defending their particular stance, but at the same time, I think it boils down to the coin. Yeah. If we look here. Here we've got the Five of Cups. Now, for me, this is quite interesting, and this is turned up in the mirror in the middle. Do you remember I've said before? I said if Duck L'Orange were to actually disappear off the face of the earth, I think there's quite a lot of people in the media that'd be quite sad about that. Yeah, because they're just so used to talking about him. Yeah, it's like. Isn't he terrible? But at the same time, they don't want him to go. Do you see that? It's like they want the tension of the story to maintain for as long as possible. We look here, kind of as the ladies were saying, look, the media have tied themselves up in knots. So
you got the same card.
The Eight of Swords, as we know, it does. Yeah, exactly. It's like this is a kind of like a Frankenstein of their own making. And really, none of the channels are really that clean. Again, I don't want to tar everyone with the same brush, but just look at the numbers. Yeah, just look at the numbers, particularly closer to the election. You know, they revel in it. I mean, I've never seen one person get so much attention in the news cycle. It's astonishing. It's astonishing. And then if we look here, we get the Hierophant, which of course can talk about government. It can talk about systems of patriarchy or the standard way of doing things. The way I interpret this is, it's almost as if Duc L'Orange has become a news institution. He's just this regular factor that always has to be there. I'm sure there is not a day that goes by where he is not reported on mainstream media. And in fact, times when he goes quiet, where there have been recently then campaign, you know, he's been golfing and has just not said anything for a few days. You know what I see? Where's Trump? He's not said anything. He's not said anything on the campaign for a few days. And then they start talking about the fact that he's not said anything rather than talking about
what someone else is saying.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Reporting on something else. And just to give some feedback, what people have been saying. So up here, Connie says, look, the media makes money out of Trump. Yeah, this is coming in the comments. Sharon's saying they like the ratings.
Yeah.
Pamela says they want drama.
All true.
And then Nunya says the news media down the top talking heads have been promised lower taxes under Trump. So the answer is greed. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Anything else, ladies, before we move to the next question?
Yes, a comment from Edith here talking about voting in the states that have been impacted by the hurricane. She said, I'm sure it will because the mail can't get through and no polling places are left in many areas in several states. So what I was reading this morning in the news is there's conversations, God knows who with, about extending times for absentee ballots, you know, improvising polling stations in affected areas, etc. But can you just imagine if any of those counties or states go blue? Oh, they came in after the hurricane and stole the election. You know, like Dems have to get on top of this issue. Be on the attack, make them explain.
Yeah, I agree.
Why people are left devastated, because everyone's going to blame them eventually. Now it's just the Republicans.
Anything else that you would like us to read on?
Yes, send us a question.
So my sound is really low.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that we would like to read on? If people could leave questions in the comments. I think I'm up to date in terms of the comments. I think someone's asking about Clarence. Oh, no. I thought they were asking about Clarence Thomas. Let's have a look. Oh, people want to... Okay, here we are. So here's one here. So Russia and Ukraine. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do
Let's have a look. Let's just
do a dial-in. Yeah, we've not looked for a while. Let's just do an energetic dial-in to see what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. We know our Putin cards. We know our Zelensky cards. So let's see who shows up. So what's the dynamic? What's the energy around Russia and Ukraine right now? Take a look.
All right, I can go if you want.
Go for it.
Well, I think this is a problem for both sides. Obviously, we're 3 years in or something. Mother Russia is struggling financially. Now, obviously, Ukraine would be as well, because you can't operate normal businesses and government and stuff in an active war zone. So it's both of them. But in this sense, I think it's impacting Russia more politically. Ukrainians understand why things aren't working in their country. Russians are wondering why they haven't won this war. You said that we were doing this thing, you know. So they're more impacted. Look at this, walking away and out in the cold, and again, another moving away card. I think this is people moving away from whatever they believed in Russia. This is about what was happening. They're moving away from Putin, I suspect. But this is also Ukrainians, because if the war had been sorted out in 6 months, they'd automatically go back. Many people have had to make lives in other countries and aren't going back. So this is leading to yet another displacement of people. Look at these cards. People displacement. Still, most of it's in the dark. We in the West know very little about what's really going on. But someone has to get their act together, because this is a significant tower point in history. Right. So, in other words, they're not good cards. I'm not seeing peacemaking cards. I'm not seeing victory cards. I'm not seeing anything but people leaving. That's me.
Okay. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, the reading's about, not liking the harvest. Things are not going like Putin wanted, because the people are in an agreement when it comes to his strong arm tactics that he's been doing and the stuff he's been putting out. The challenge is, again, his bad deeds, his toxicity, and the outcome is the absolute burden that's going on. And underneath of it, he's being tied up mentally. He's not doing well because people are starting to turn on him.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. My cards are quite interesting ones, and I've also starred some comments. So some people would like us to maybe read on the Israel-Iran conflict, and if that will escalate. Some people are asking about the second moon thing. I've already read on that. This second moon, this piece of meteorite is tiny, by the way. It's only 10 meters wide, guys. I'm calling it a piece of dandruff. It's just not enough to impact the astrology. And then some people asking about Ginnie Thomas. Actually, I think that will be a good one. I think we should ask on Ginnie Thomas next. We've not spoken about her for a while, and I think Shakespeare's opinion on her as well would be good.
I think so. I think so. But what is happening with
now
Ginnie
with my cards of Russia Ukraine? Quite interesting. Look, I get the Three of Cups comes back again.
It's weird. How cards repeat?
It's just a weird one. Maybe it's because I'm at sea and the element of water is playing out here. But I mean, this is hardly a party, isn't it? So we're having to. Maybe this card coming up is requiring a slightly different interpretation. Is this the anticipation of the war potentially ending, or is this more like a kind of a keeping up appearances kind of energy? Yeah, because we're asking about Russia Ukraine, and we know it's not a party, so it means the interpretation for this card has to be slightly different from the conventional, particularly when you see the next card, which is the Ten of Wands. So look, the way I'm going to interpret this, both sides are trying to put a brave face on it. Zelensky is going around the world. This could be talking about fundraising. Yeah, maybe this is talking about fundraising. But we know Zelensky is out in front trying to corral everyone and get everyone together, because this is a card as well of partnership as well, joining together. But look, it's hard work. I think for both sides, obviously, it is hard work and almost overwhelming. If we look here in the middle, if there is a solution, I think it's going to have to be a legal one. I think it's going to be settled maybe by some legal judgment or some kind of legislation or some kind of treaty or something has to be agreed, because there kind of is a war of attrition really already, isn't it? I think both sides are exhausted, and it's going to take some kind of sharp-minded person or persons or some kind of international law body probably to bring it to an end. There could be a potential victory. There could be a potential victory. However, I think it's disputed, yeah, because that was the 6 of Wands, but the outcome card is the 5 of Wands. So I think the decision to end the war will be a legal one, but there will be a dispute about who really won. I think Ukraine will claim victory. Russia will also claim victory.
Yes,
Neither side will be happy. But because the king is showing up in the middle, it says to me, when this war eventually is ended, it's going to be ended by treaty, by agreement. Remember too, as well, I associate the king and the Queen of Swords with accounting and finance as well. So I think there's going to have to be some kind of financial package or treaty, which might be what ends the war in the end. But neither side will be happy. And I don't think either side will be given a clear victory, like Russia won or Ukraine won. Do you see? It might be a fudge. Yeah. Anything to add to that, ladies? How are we doing on time, by the way? I can't see my clock.
It's 5:02, but we need to go 15 minutes over. So there's still plenty of the show left, everybody.
Cool, cool. In that case, then let's do a read on Ginnie Thomas. Yes. We've not spoken about her for a long time, and she is still very significant in all of this. So shall we see? Let's ask if she will ever be held accountable for her actions, and then let's get the bard's opinion on this rather strange creature.
Ginnie Thomas, because apparently she grew up in a cult. Left, yes. Not her fault. She was born into a family that went that way. But then we do have agency and change. So she went from that into this madness. Ginnie Thomas.
And believe it or not, do you know she was actually, for a time period, she helped people deprogram from cults.
There you go. You know, she had a path. She could have stuck with that. Then she's gone off in this. Does she even believe it? Does she believe it?
It's like she drank the Kool-Aid again. I think she's like someone struggling with deep addiction. She had a moment of remission, but couldn't leave the cult cray-cray behind and just dove back in, even deeper than before.
Yeah.
Oh. A card dropped out for her. Wow. Okay. Interesting. How are you feeling, Lady G? Are you okay?
Yeah, I didn't sleep at all last night, and I was leaving for my drive to Maine today, and then I got word that we could start our voting on Tuesday, so I turned around and drove back and ran in here. So I've just been running. I haven't had a moment to breathe yet.
Yeah. Get a good night's sleep tonight, I hope, for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And there are 1,752 of you with us now joining us live. So thank you so much for joining us live, and me in somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. All right. Who's ready to go first?
I'll just start with this comment from Wendy Schneider. Ginny's parents were political religious operatives and quite influential in their area. So it's this fusion of cult group behavior plus power mongering. Right. Normally with cults, it's just the leader and nothing else but the So this is where she cut her teeth. Okay. She gets the 2 and the 3 of Wands, right? So she's constantly, I think, strategizing. She constantly puts these boats out waiting for them to come back. In other words, she's active. Behind the scenes, she's very active. She gets this King of Swords here, which I think in a way is her. It's like she chose Clarence Thomas for his power. I think she was drawn to that rather than the man. And because she was already influential, he piggybacked off her. It's a very weird marriage. She's unrepentant. She will still keep talking this way. She only knows lies. This is someone who actually has no critical thought pattern. She actually cannot assess what she reads or sees except through this myopic lens of deception. It's like she couldn't lie straight in bed. And so she's sucked in by it, and then she puts it out, and around it goes over and over in her life. Ooh. That's me.
Wow. Wow. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, the reading's about the couple. Yeah. And the things that they are continuing to hold on to, whether it's money, whether it's belief systems, etc., all of those things. So she has definitely drank the Kool-Aid, and I wanted a clarification. Yeah, she's being ruled by this, religiosity of drama that she's been into. Probably that white Christian nationalism, that evangelical drama that's going on, because the challenge is ending that belief system, coming to an end with it, because the outcome is she's just delusional with all of these things.
Yeah.
Because of
lunatic
and continued manipulations, and she thinks it gives her power.
Oh. Oh gosh, these people. I just want to do a few more. I don't know if I've already announced these already, so I'll click through them. I just want to say some thank yous. So thank you. What have I done here? 1 minute. I've not done that right. It didn't show up on the screen. Un momento, per favore. So someone says, I hope Ginnie Thomas goes to jail. Julianne, thank you so much for your Q compound. Miriana, thank you so much for your donation. I may have missed 1 or 2 there. No, I didn't. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for all of the support. Please, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to like and subscribe to either Lena or Lady G, they will be in the video description post this video once I'm able to get that part up. Okay, Ginnie Thomas. Will she face any accountability? Maybe. Yeah. Well, the Judgment card does come up. Whether or not this will be her rising up, from the ashes and doing a giant mea culpa, I doubt it. Yeah, because she is totally rusted on, baked in, died in the war. She's full indigo MAGA. Yeah. It's just everything is just like there. We look here though, in her obstacle position, she gets the tower. So, but I think this tower moment, of course, is dependent on a democratic win. Yeah, I think that's quite obvious, isn't it? So
yeah,
if there's a democratic win, which we all hope there is, yes, she may well face accountability. I can't see how not, because she's one of the major architects of the cray cray, along with Opus Dei and all of that lot. If we look here, though, she's still rampant, unrepentant, and she's still going to come out with her evangelical message, irrespective. So she's still strapped onto the back of the horses, folks, blowing her firebrand and just letting rip. Yeah,
Totally.
it may not be obvious, but she's still making the calls and doing
Yes.
everything. Particularly with Project 2025, which I'm sure she's probably written a good third of what's
Yes,
in there,
right.
and
It's
her
her
friends.
journal.
Oh yeah, it's like a wish list. It's like a dream book of manifestation. We look here though. Look, she may have to reflect and pause on something. So, because the Hermit card, of course, I would say its meaning is neutral. If the person is, spiritual, this can talk about going within, etc. But this can also mean reflection, retreat. But it can also talk about paranoia as well. So I think she's also quite a paranoid person. Of course, she would have to be. And then the outcome card here, we have the Queen of Swords. So again, this is talking about legalities again. And maybe if she does get prosecuted, it could well be a female judge. So when I put that all together, I would say, basically, if the Democrats win, I think there is a very good chance that she will be prosecuted because her fingerprints are everywhere. It's just that I don't think she's been the main priority of Jack Smith and that lot yet. Do you see? But it's inevitable. As those things get knocked off, someone's knocking, then we'll have to see. Yes, talk amongst yourselves, lady. I think it's lady. It's the room service.
Well, I'd like to thank Darcy for that donation. Thank you very much, Darcy.
Thank you, Darcy. And for those that were saying they really liked my necklace today, this was just gifted to me by one of our viewers. And so I wanted to thank her again. Thank you, Rochelle.
How gorgeous. And people have been admiring your hat. I know you've taken it off now, but is there a story to the hat?
Well, it started out as a light mint, and then I burnt it and distressed it and reshaped it and cut it. And yes, I redid the whole thing.
Well, it's fabulous now.
Thank you.
That looks great. Yeah,
looks great. So, sorry, folks, for that little interlude. That was room service just checking. I know it's so random. I know who does a YouTube show live from a frigging ship. Anyway,
that's right. So darling, we have to do Shakespeare on Ginny.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do Shakespeare.
Hopefully you brought it with you.
All right, yeah. You might see Gustav in the background. That's just my friend Gustav. He's who I've known for like 23 years. You're live on camera, Gustav. Yes, lady. Yeah, my because of the time zones, Gusty, I'll be away in a second. No problem. All right, so let's ask about Ginnie Thomas. Whose turn is it to call on Shakespeare this week?
I don't remember. Go, Lady G, you go.
Okay.
All right. So this is the Bard's take on Ginnie Thomas. All right. You know the procedure. Tell me where to stop and we'll find out.
And stop.
Oh.
Ooh.
How interesting. Okay, this is from Othello, yeah? 'Tis the strumpet's plague to beguile many and be beguiled by one.
Oh.
Isn't
strumpet. I haven't heard strumpet.
I'll read that again.
From
Othello. 'Tis the strumpet's plague to beguile many and be beguiled by one.
Oh.
Wow. So just in case people may not know what the word strumpet means, the word strumpet is kind of like another word for an easy woman, shall we say, isn't it? A strumpet.
That's what I was going to say slut, but I'm Australian and I don't bring a moral judgment to that. So strumpet is like the medieval version.
All right.
Hogarth, you're so tasteful. Good.
Thank you. But isn't it interesting though? Because I find that very poignant because when it says it's the strumpet's plague to beguile many. So the beguiling of many, of course, can really talk about the whole, the Jan 6 insurrection in of itself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Many have been beguiled by that. But it says, and
She's
be beguiled by one. So obviously that one would have to be Duck L'Orange.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And let's see what's on
Now, in the comments too, we've got 5 minutes to go. I'll just be quick. I hope everyone has seen, if you haven't yet, check it out, the Dems' new ad about children. It is fantastic. This is Mona Rogers that brought home the truth about how we form children's thoughts. And it was sad, I think. It's sad in a poignant way. And it's basically how children are taught to hate. So I think it's a profound ad. It should be global, not just the US. So it's a great bit of media. Check it out, the newest ad. Brilliant.
Indeed, indeed. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly share here. Oh my goodness. Darcy, I want to say thank you so much for your kind generation. And KY Peggy in Stitches, thank you so much for your kind donation as well. Thank you to everyone that donates to the show. It's much appreciated. And of course, it is shared with the ladies as well. In fact, I'll do that, ladies, when I'm in Japan, actually, when I've got some stable internet, because I'm like, I don't want the stuff to disappear. We've got 5 minutes to go. So let's give some options, ladies, and tell me what you would prefer to read on. So, so there is one here from Sharon. Will Thomas recuse now that Jack's document has come out? We could read on that. And then Julian Joe says, I'd love to know if the GOP is creating a compound around the Capitol, reports of them buying lots of buildings.
Buying buildings?
Shall we read on that? I just find that quite intriguing. What do you think? Was that a bridge too far?
Oh, we can read on it.
We can read on it.
Yeah. All right, let's go for it then. So, Julianne, your question is going to be closing the show. I'd love to know if the GOP is creating a coup compound around a capital. Reports of them buying lots of buildings, and there are 1,800 of you with us right now. Thank you so much, everybody.
Wow, guys. Thanks. Okay, what's the
Please don't forget as well
GOP up to?
Subscribe. Wow, good question.
Yes, I had no idea.
I'm still thinking about the bar.
I know. the strumpet. How funny.
Yeah. Beguiling many, but beguiled by one. You would not believe the two cards that have just dropped out for this question as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
are they planning a
I'll pull a few of the Italian cards here and see what they say as well.
So funny that Gustav ended up being in the video.
That's right. So the question was, are they building a coup compound sort of thing?
Yeah.
How weird. I think it's probably not even the whole GOP. My vibe is it's a faction of the GOP who, because they're having to talk themselves up now. They're staring down an election loss. So you can imagine the behind the scenes. It's okay, guys, we're winning, you know. So they think there's strength in joining together with the winning card. What happened here is interesting with the Hierophant in relation to the question. They're religious people. Well, they're not religious people. They're bigoted people who choose a very narrow interpretation of scripture. Let's be clear. They're, nutties. But here's the White House. So there's something in the story, right? There is something. They are moving quite quickly on this, but like I said, my vibe is a faction of the gem. I pull some Italian cards for clarifiers, and I go, this is the dottore, right? Someone's sick, i.e. the GOP party is very sick. What is their motivation? Money. It's not even veiled in a way. Complete money, which is going to be their consolation prize, consoliani, which is dreaming of more money and power. So they are out there doing this thing. I don't know if it's as literal as we buy this block and that block and stuff, but it's the beginning of some sort of weird maneuver. That's me.
Gosh. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, underneath of it, they're trying to get some sort of a victory and say that it's justified. So the energy going into it is about a manipulation that they are discussing, of course, and sharing for a long-term benefit that they want to have. So they are, again, walking away, going away to do this and rapidly trying to build this network because they've got something in their mind that they want to put an end to. They want to try to set it up again to infiltrate things, to put ends to stuff. It just
These people, I mean, they're just absolutely rabid. All right, now this is quite interesting here. Let me just.
What jumped out for you?
Yeah. So, what leapt out for me were the two cards that I got for Ginnie Thomas. The first two cards I got for Ginnie Thomas have come back in the same order. You can't make this stuff up. So here we have the Judgment card, yeah, but for who?
Yes.
I think in terms of their cray-cray, they want to be the arbiters of final judgment, yeah, because they all want, basically it's all about, Jesus coming back again and final judgment and, we're all going to burn in hell and, and it's, getting the tambourines out and all of this kind of stuff. But this could also be where really everything is starting to kind of like be exposed and, this kind of rising up in a way. So we'll have to see how that energy goes. But what do they have planned? Yes, it looks like they might be planning chaos. Yeah, they want to kind of blow things up. They want to kind of shock the system. And, so I think there might be a bit of strength to it. Like Lena said, it's probably not the whole bunch of them, but it is the hardcore of the hardcore of the hardcore.
Yes.
Yeah? The ones that really do feel that, by, I think, rising insurrection, they can bring about Armageddon. I think they're part of that bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, if they fail, they will try and move to smoother waters because, of course, these people always have plans because they can never face reality. So believe it or not, they do have one or two contingency plans. Yeah, this is showing up in the middle. However, whatever they're doing, though, it is going to be hard to pull off. Even by their standards, it's taxing. It's taxing. All of this stuff. And what is the taxing element? Now, if we look here, we get the star card here. But as you know, when I'm reading on the GOP in particular, this is the card I also use for what? Duck L'Orange. Yeah, the shadow of this card for me is the narcissist. So it is heavy going. This work. So if I read it backwards, this might give us some insights. Here's Duck L'Orange, the one that they're serving, or the beloved one for Ginnie Thomas. Yeah. However, it's hard work and effort maintaining this relationship. They're having to put a lot of back-breaking work into maintaining everything. Some of them do actually want to move to smoother waters because they're exhausted. And I think the shocks and revelations that may come out in the next few weeks, could potentially have an impact on some of their judgments. So what that says to me is the hardcore are doing it, but I think as things go along, like you both ladies have been saying, it's death by 1,000 cuts. They can only keep this facade going for so long. So for me, it's quite mixed. They are going to try, but I think it's a small hardcore. We know what they want to do, but I think there's a question mark of how much they can actually succeed. And they may actually just be discovered, or they may have their plans blown up altogether. So there we are, ladies. I think we've reached time, haven't we? Have we? I can't see
Well,
the
how
clock.
exciting.
Let's assume.
The
I think
next show, you'll be in Japan.
I know. And what I'll do is, so I'll say my goodbyes. What I'm going to do briefly here, I'm just going to stick my phone out the window so you can get a little bit of weather sensation.
Don't drop
so
it.
You know what I've been dealing with.
Achoo. Oh, no.
Did you see the wilds?
It
the
does
wilds
look
of the
wild.
Pacific Ocean.
No,
Anyway,
that's my
folks, thank you
ocean.
so much, everyone.
Now
for
you're in
joining
my
us.
waters.
Indeed. So thank you everyone so much for joining us today. Much appreciated. Thank you so much as well for your generous donations. Please don't forget as well to like and subscribe to support to the channel. All the ladies who will also be in the video description below. When you next see me, I should be in Japan with more reliable internet, I hope, but we managed to kind of get through it. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me here. And of course, we will see you all next week. I'm probably from Tokyo, I think, if I remember correctly. And my plan for my birthday is to sing a song in Japanese in karaoke in Tokyo.
Now, there's a life goal. That is a life goal.
Hogarth, you don't want to say karaoke there. It's karaoke.
There you go.
Oh, karaoke. Okay.
Yes.
Karaoke. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try. But bye for now, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. And we will leave it there. All right. Big kisses.
Ciao.
Let me just see here.